Hey, what's up everybody? Chris Dale here. I just wanted to share a little hacking challenge that I got to my 40th birthday and how I solved it with some advice from a friend. So basically, the challenge is like this. This picture here was wrapped around three wine bottles actually. So I got three different pictures with an identical QR code in the middle. So with a QR code, what do we do with a QR code? Well, of course, we scan it, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to crop the QR code like this. And I'm going to save it, QR, overwrite the file, like that. And then I'm going to go to our trusted friend, Cyberchef. Cyberchef is here. I'm going to drag and drop the QR code into Cyberchef because, well, Cyberchef is fantastic. Here we can automatically recognize that this is a PNG image of the QR code, but even better than render image, we're gonna parse QR code like this. And this reveals to us the challenge. And when I read this challenge the day after my party, so when my 40th birthday was up, basically, we were about 70 people crowded here in the house, partying from about 3 p.m. till 4 a.m. in the night. And I was super stoked getting wine and getting this hacking challenge for my birthday. And I woke up the day after, really hungover by the way, and I wanted to solve it immediately. It reads, Emmanuel Goldstein sits in his pad devouring a bowl of cereal. And there's a typo here, I guess. Loves their catchphrase and reuses it. Epic fail. He's not a skid. He should know better. And then there's a base64 data beneath it. Now, when I read this the day after my party, I was stoked because I immediately thought I knew how to solve this challenge. Okay. First of all, let's walk through the text here. Emmanuel Goldstein. That's a throwback or a hint towards the book 1984, where Emmanuel Goldstein is the enemy of the state. And as you know, if you read the book, which you should, by the way, fantastic book, scary book. Turns out to be more of a documentary than anything else, I think. But if you do read the book, Emmanuel Goldstein is the enemy of the state, and the state is evil. So in fact, Emmanuel Goldstein is our hero, actually. But he is sitting in his pad. And pad might be a throw to, for example, a one-time pad. Perhaps it's a reference to a cipher that is using padding or a pad. He's devouring a bowl of cereal. And when I read this, I immediately didn't think of 1984 anymore. I thought of, well, the movie Hackers, where we have Emmanuel Goldstein, which is actually the throwback to 1984. Emmanuel Goldstein from the movie Hackers. His catchphrase is actually serial killer. Wow. So we got Emmanuel Goldstein here eating a bowl of cereal. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. He loves their catchphrase. And now I'm thinking along the line of Captain Crunch. Captain Crunch cereal. Basically, this cereal here was infamous to include basically a whistle that could blow out a perfect 2600 hertz tune. That if you blew that 2600 tune into a what we would say a old school telephony, telephony boxes, you pick up the handle and you could basically dial a number with this little wheel or put in a number, blow that whistle into such a phone booth, and you might be able to hijack the signal that could, for example, allow you to do long distance calls and much more. I believe it was called a red box or a blue box back in the day, before my time. Anyways, so I'm thinking this is a throw to Captain Crunch, and you see that he loves their catchphrase, and I think the catchphrase is, you see I've Googled this before, the catchphrase was something along the lines of oats for punch or corn for crunch, or like stays crunchy even in milk. So I'm thinking the catchphrase is something like this, okay? And I'm thinking it's Captain Crunch immediately. Also, it says epic fail. He's not a skid. He should know better. So basically, this is the epic fail. Key reusage. If you have, for example, the XOR cipher, and you use a one-time pad, a pad or a password which is as long as the message that you're encrypting with XOR, you kind of have perfect crypto, so to speak. It is really hard to break because the decryption process could basically create any other type of text possible, so to speak. Also, another important fact is that there is this message down here, base64. I have probably lots of plain text knowledge about this text because, you know, it was my birthday. So I'm thinking keywords like birthday in Norwegian, English, 40 years, 40 år in Norwegian, happy, and then gratulerer, which is the Norwegian word for happy birthday, so to speak. All of these potential plain text keywords I have. Potentially, that's maybe plain text knowledge, okay? So then on to solving the cipher. I put the cipher into, say, another CyberChef here, and then we, of course, do base64 decode, right? Of course. I mean, look at this. It's base64. This turned out to be one of my biggest mistakes. I spent, from here on out, probably 10 hours trying to solve the challenge. I did absolutely everything. I did XOR brute forcing, what we call crib dragging, where we go with a plain text trying to cause any type of output where we get usable bytes in the output. So the XOR cipher here is basically a way for us to, say, apply a password which will be repeated across the ciphertext to produce a plain text. So I would, for example, go Captain Crunch is crunch-tastic, for example. And then if I close all of these error messages here, I would basically look for any plain text ASCII output. I would do this in Python, where I would be looking for the decimal output of these characters to see if they're within the human readable space of characters. And I would not just go with Captain Crunch. I would be going through every single cereal slogan, cereal brand. I would go through everything. I was certain it was XOR, a reusable key, which is basically applied over and over across the ciphertext. I thought I had it until I didn't. And I spent way too much time before I asked a friend of mine, one of my employees, Mats Harman. He said to me, hey, I'll take a look. And you know what he did? He looked at this base64 text and he thought to himself, could it be that the people, my friends, who made me this challenge, added rot 13 to the cipher? Rotate 13 characters. And I myself has already thought about this. I've tried all kinds of ciphers. The Vigener cipher, rot 13, rot 14, 15, 16, shift left, shift right. I've tested so much crap, to be honest with you. But one thing I did not test was to rot 13 before the base64 algorithm. Because why would I test that? I should have. Mats did. And now, if you do XOR brute forcing and what we call crib dragging and so on, looking for known plain text patterns, etc. If you now go, for example, with the XOR and the key is Latin 1, just human readable, and I go hack, for example, and all of a sudden, with these characters here, lowercase or even uppercase, so it's obviously going to be uppercase though, but this is important. If I go with characters in the ASCII character set here, you can see that the first bytes of the output here are actually ASCII characters. So that means that we might be onto something, okay? And then if I now use a dictionary of potential passphrases and I apply that dictionary in interesting ways, I will actually learn that the passphrase is hack the. Notice that the plain text keeps on becoming more and more human readable here. Hack the planet. Exclamation mark. Hack the planet, oops, is what serial killer screams out of a car. He puts his head out of a car and he says, hack the planet. That's a pretty fantastic moment of the Hackers movie, and it's also what I wear on my backpack when I'm traveling around the world. My backpack says hack the planet, and that was actually the password to solve the challenge. And I tried this in multiple iterations, multiple times, with space, without space, uppercase, lowercase, permutations, and so on. And I didn't get it because of that stupid Caesar cipher. That rotate 13, rot 13, made me stuck for at least 10 hours. And Mats Herman, he got it in about 20 minutes. And you can see the challenge reads, congratulations. No, actually it says, you cracked the code. Checksum okay. Congratulations. Now you can enjoy the contents of the bottle. We hope that it's not expired on the date, winky. Multi-factor authentication to open. A screwdriver and a glass of wine, or a wine glass. Congratulations with your 40 years day, or past or belated birthday. Everything based on how you solved it, you know. And then a smiley face at the end. Whew. And I'm so happy we got to solve it finally. I really love that I have friends that bring me gifts like this. Look, I do enjoy wine, and I do enjoy a puzzle, and I'm really happy we got to solve it finally. Yes, closure. And I wanted to share it on YouTube to all of you so that maybe you get some inspiration to gifts that you can give to your friends, or maybe some inspiration on looking into the Caesar cipher or the XOR and so on. So yeah, it's been real, everybody. Nice to see you all again. Peace, everybody. Bye-bye.